The stresses we identified in the last session can be linked to different negative emotions. In this session, we take a closer look at these emotions. It is useful to recognize our different emotions, as naming them in itself is a way to regulate them. What are emotions? Emotions are psychological states brought on by neuropsychological changes, variously associated with thoughts, feelings, behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure. There are 5 crucial elements of emotion. Cognitive appraisal, which provides an evaluation of events and objects. Bodily symptoms, the psychological component of emotional experience. Action tendencies, a motivational component for the preparation and a direction of motor responses. Expression, facial and vocal expression almost always accompanies an emotional state to communicate reaction and intention of actions. Feelings, the subjective experience of emotional state once it has occurred. Many researchers agree that there is a set of basic emotions that all humans experience, irrespective of which cultures they live in. These emotions can be recognized by their corresponding facial expressions. 7 basic emotions have been identified and considered as universal. Contempt, sadness, fear, disgust, surprise, happiness, anger. Sadness is one of the basic emotions. Sadness is an emotional pain associated with feelings of disadvantage, loss, despair, grief, helplessness, disappointment, and sorrow. Sadness can lead to a downward spiral. An example of severe sadness is depression, a mood which can be brought on by major depressive disorder or persistent depressive disorder. If someone wants to avoid experiencing sadness at all costs, it might lead to the avoidance of close relationships, as it would make him or her vulnerable to being hurt. The term happiness is used as positive or pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy. As a social function, expressing enjoyment plays an important role in signaling friendliness and assuring that we are not a threat to others. Scientists agree that enjoyable emotions motivate us to do things that are good for us and the survival of our species, i.e., reproducing and child rearing. Scientists also agree that the pursuit of enjoyment is a primary motivation in our lives. Anger is one of the 7 universal emotions which arises when we are blocked from pursuing a goal or treated unfairly. At its most extreme, anger can be one of the most dangerous emotions because of its potential connection to violence, and therefore is a common emotion to seek help in dealing with. The least researched of the 7 universal emotions, contempt, is the feeling of dislike and superiority over another person, group of people, or their actions. The basic notion of contempt is, I'm better than you and you are lesser than me. While contempt is a standalone emotion, it is often accompanied by anger, usually in a mild form such as annoyance. Fear arises with the threat of harm, either physical, emotional, or psychological, real or imagined. While traditionally considered a negative emotion, fear actually serves an important role in keeping us safe as it mobilizes us to cope with potential danger. Persistent fear can sometimes be referred to as anxiety if we feel constantly worried without knowing why. Disgust arises as a feeling of aversion towards something offensive. We can feel disgusted by something we perceive with our physical senses: sight, smell, touch, sound, taste. By the actions or appearances of people, and even by ideas. For example, everyone may have disgust reactions to a morally tainted person, but what is considered morally tainted might vary across cultures. Surprise arises when we encounter sudden and unexpected sounds or movements. As the briefest of the universal emotions, its function is to focus our attention on determining what is happening and whether or not it is dangerous. Some people never want to be surprised, even if it is by a positive event. Others love being surprised. They deliberately leave many things unplanned so that they can often experience the unexpected. Finally, we have now completed the review of the Stress Management Session 2 curriculum. Thank you very much for your kind attention. You will find further content in the course material, including exercises and tests.